One of my subscribers just reached out to me and asked, is now a good time to buy with these high interest rates? We're going to run through why it's even worse than just high interest rates. We're going to talk about some of the other problems with the housing market today. And then we're going to run through why my investor clients have their powder dry and they're ready to jump in to this market. It may not make sense for everyone, but you need to decide if it makes sense for you. Hey there. Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates. We've been helping buyers and sellers make the best data-driven decisions in this crazy market. And we're here to talk about just how bad the housing market is and explain what investors who are buying in this market are doing and looking for. So if you're ready to dive in and talk about just how bad the market is, but why investors are still buying, hit that like button. And let's get started. So not only is it the fact that interest rates are high, but there's actually more that makes this market worse, and that is the volatility of interest rates. This just came out from Redfin, where they tracked what happened to a $500,000 home with interest rates going up and down and up and down. And what they discovered is that the payment for a $500,000 home in just the past few months went from $3,051, dropped to $2,874, and is now around $3,200. This volatility, while a buyer is searching for the home, is in addition to the high interest rates. The rates are bouncing all over the place. And Adam Data just released this report talking about unaffordable homes, the lack of affordability out there right now. And it shows in their research that 69% of counties, the average buyer can't afford a median price home. That's how unaffordable things are right now. And they talk about the fact that prices are declining. So there may be some relief in sight as prices go down. So all these things added up, who in their right mind would buy right now? So with all the uncertainty that's out there right now and so many different people saying this is absolutely not the time to buy, why would anybody be out there shopping? Well, my big investor clients, they are keeping their powder dry. They have cash and they're ready to jump in. Now, why would they jump in this market? They know when competition is down from other buyers and sellers are listing their properties during a time like this, there may be a good reason that they're selling and they may be able to swoop in and get a good deal. Now, of course, not every property that's listed right now is going to be a screaming deal. Some are going to trade right at the fair market value. Some may sit a while and ultimately never trade. You need to understand your local market and you need to understand what's going on with the individual property you're interested in. So let's dive into what investor clients are up to today, and that is they know that they have to buy and hold. So they're not buying with a flipper's mentality, not looking to put lipstick on a pig and get it back on the market. These are deals where they're looking to hold for the long term. Some it's a 5 to 7 year clock. Others, it's longer. So that's the mindset right now. It has to be a buy and hold. Next important point, it has to be a property where there's a value add. And by value add, we mean that there's a way to make an improvement to the property that's going to add to the value. And this is a wide open field of improvements. It could be adding an accessory dwelling unit, which in the state of California, we have laws that make that much easier. It could be a lot split and duplex conversion, which in the state of California, we have SB 9, and that allows in certain cases the ability to make it a duplex, to split the lot and put up to 4 units. I have content on that so you can look into how to do that. Then there's other things you could do. Maybe you add just a bedroom or bathroom, or maybe you just fix it up and hold on to it and rent it out. Those are some examples. There has to be a value add. The other thing investors are looking for is a property with something that's unique. And that could be that it has an amazing view, it has an extra large yard, it has something that's grandfathered in. Maybe a house can't be built that large anymore in that neighborhood. If there's something unique about the property and the price is right, where you're essentially getting some of that uniqueness at a discount or free, it makes sense to buy. Additionally, a lot of my investors like to have multiple exit strategies. And this is something I'm a big fan of. If a property has the ability to be sold maybe as a house, to be sold as condos, to be torn down and redeveloped, to be turned into something else, maybe turned into a parking lot or a parking structure. Again, the field is wide open, but if there are multiple exit strategies, and you have to dive down and look at the zoning for the site and see if there's anything coming that's potentially going to make this property more valuable. Here's an example. There's a new law passed in the state of California, AB 2097, literally passed into law last week, and it eliminates parking standards for properties that are within a half a mile of high quality transit areas. What does this mean? This suddenly means that residential commercial properties, you can add maybe more units and parking isn't a restriction anymore. So that would be an example where suddenly, even though the world seems like it's falling apart, because of this new legislation, it makes sense to potentially buy one of these sites. That's just one small example. And we'll release more content on that. Another area of opportunity are rental properties. And we'll first talk about houses and condos that are rented out. If a landlord decides they're going to sell a property with a tenant in place, they may be sick of being a landlord. It's been very tough through COVID, and some places still have a local eviction moratorium in place, like Los Angeles City and Los Angeles County, for example. So point being that if a landlord's selling with a tenant in place, they may just want to get rid of the property. You may be able to negotiate a better deal, and then ultimately you'll have to deal with getting the tenant out. But that's an example where you could potentially get a deal because of the timing on the property, and you don't need to wait. Also, multifamily properties are an important thing to be watching in this market. So duplexes, triplexes, and bigger. They offer the opportunity for you to potentially move into one and rent out the others, help defray the costs. And with rents having gone up as much as they have, there's a chance that a property that didn't pencil may now suddenly pencil in this market if you can get it at the right price. So I strongly encourage you to look at rental properties. Another important thing that my best investor clients know, not best because they buy a lot of stuff with me, but best because they actually get good returns, they know when to pull the trigger. They underwrite the deal. They're happy when the numbers look good. They don't underwrite it so that everything has to be perfectly lined up for them to make money. There's some contingency factor built in, but they know when to pull the trigger. A lot of people out there know that person who's always looking for a steal and never actually pulls the trigger on buying a piece of real estate. They're always talking about how they're going to buy, and they're always 10 or 15 or 20,000 under the market at any point in time. They never actually seal the deal. You don't need a steal. All you need is a deal that makes sense for you. But that's what my clients are doing right now. They're actually pulling the trigger on deals. We can all wait for the absolute bottom of the market to buy, and then we could all wait for the absolute top of the market to sell. But guess what? Neither of us know. And they both have something in common, and that is the bottom of the market and the top of the market. We can only tell when we look back in the rearview mirror and we say, oh yeah, there they were. So there's the advice I have for you. It is a terrible time to buy. Most people should not buy, but there are going to be deals out there. Hopefully these tips give you some ideas. Let us know if you have any other tips on how to find a deal, or whether you're just going to plain wait. You're absolutely not going to do any shopping until things change. Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to our free email newsletter. It comes out every week. We have market updates. We have info for tenants and landlords on eviction moratoria and legal updates and a whole lot more. There's a link below so you can sign up for that. And check out this next video you're not going to want to miss on the housing market we're in right now. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Christian Walsh, real estate agent with Wire Associates, and we want to hear from you.